So hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Jonnychipz Weekly. This is episode number 58. My name's John Lunn, aka Jonnychipz, and thanks so much for tuning in. Do these episodes weekly just to give you a bit of Azure news updates, do some community call-outs, and kind of just bring a bit of love back to the community. So with that being said, it is Friday the 4th of February 2022. This week's video is entitled Happy Birthday. Happy birthday, Azure. So yes, hello everybody and welcome to this week's show. Thanks so much for tuning in. As always on a Friday lunchtime here in the UK, so 12:30 GMT, your weekly dose of Jonnychipz Weekly. So usual format this week, we'll jump on over, do some community call-outs where we take a look at the awesome things that are going on across our fantastic community. We'll talk a little bit about what I've been up to this week in terms of work and on the side and other bits and pieces that are coming back. Briefly tell you what's coming up next in the Welsh Azure User Group before we head on over and look at this week's Azure news and updates. So without further ado, let's jump on over. So absolutely, happy birthday Azure. Azure turned 12 this week. So it was launched in February 2010. So yeah, this very week, Azure has just turned 12. So I thought it was very apt that we call out happy birthday to Azure. Obviously, we all know and love the product sets that we can work with in Azure. So it's only right that we say happy birthday, surely. I mean, does Azure have feelings? I don't know. Tell me in the comments below. So first up then, AVD Tech Fest 2022 is in Amsterdam. They've just announced the first speakers that have been confirmed. You can go and register for that. It is an on-site event that you can pay for. Go and visit. It's held in Amsterdam. Simon Binder here is pointing this out. He's one of the co-organisers of the Tech Fest. He's looking to be great. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get out to the Netherlands to watch that in person, unfortunately, as much as I'd love to be there. But yeah, if you're interested, go and get signed up for that. They do offer an online free experience, which is cool. I mean, clearly they're going to be doing some content over a single day, but the actual event itself is over 2 full days if you want to go in person. So check that out. They've got an early bird on up until February the 14th, so you've got a week or so to get in there if you want to get some early bird prices there on those tickets. So thanks for that, Simon. Looking forward to seeing what comes of that. Testing in Production podcast. So on a Friday, it's either the Patch and Switch show or it's Jared and Pierre talking about testing in production. It's always a good, fun hour show that you can just kind of zone out, listen to, see what the guys have been up to, hints and tips. Yeah, just a general bit of a fun chat on a Friday. Obviously, for me, it's Friday after work, just as I'm wrapping up, so I can grab myself a nice cider and sit down with the guys there. So this week, it's Testing in Production. So if you're not following them, go and follow them. I always wonder why more people don't follow guys like this in the community. Well, certainly, obviously the guys here work for Microsoft. You've got the Patch and Switch show. You've got, like I say, Pierre and Jared looking at the Testing in Production. It's a good bit of fun. Really it kind of, for me, helps keep that community spirit alive with our friends and peers and colleagues across the pond there in the US as well. So looking forward to that one. That'll be later on today. April put out a bit of a poll there. If you are 30 and under, that kind of ruled me right out there. Thanks, April. But no, I think in all seriousness, April's trying to do a little bit of a poll to understand how PowerShell is kind of being adopted by the new generation, the younger generation coming out into the industry the first time. So I think she's obviously feeding back some comments and content feedback on PowerShell for that demographic back into Microsoft and the peeps that kind of help market PowerShell and help publicize it to see if they can do anything with that. But so if you are 30 and under, fill in that aka.ms/PowerShell feedback. That would be cool, just to help April out there. And moving on. So yeah, Ben Coleman. Do you know what? Kubernetes has been one of those technologies that I've dabbled. I've done an open hack with containerization, touched around the edges of AKS and building up my own Kubernetes cluster and getting some workloads running on it. But it's fair to say it's one of those products that I don't deal with on a daily basis, but I find it so fascinating. There's some fantastic people in the community, always putting out some good information that I kind of use to keep up to date and just kind of keep that broad, high-level view of what's going on in the fantastic world of cloud native, and certainly with the Azure flavor of AKS. So Ben has put together an entire workshop. Now, I remember looking for something like this back last year. So if you head on over to cube-workshop.benco.io, you get this. He spent an awful lot of time, by the looks of it, pulling all this fantastic content together, putting the GitHub repos, but really taking you through from start to finish with your prereqs, deploying Kubernetes, looking at setting up a container registry and how you put some images in there, talking about an application that he's used, I believe, to kind of set up and push into running on a Kubernetes cluster. All sorts, looking at the networking, looking at the front end, improving deployments, so looking at best practices and resource limits, things like that. And then, using Helm and Ingress as well to kind of give that finished look to your Kubernetes cluster. Listen to me sound like I know what I'm talking about. Honestly, it's a fantastic technology stack, one of which I want to know more. Ben's put this together. He's saying it should take roughly 4 or 5 hours to kind of complete the main sections. If you're interested, like me, you're getting started, you're not done a great deal with Kubernetes, to me, this looks like a fantastic opportunity to just work through this workshop. So, yeah, huge thanks to Ben for this. If you head on over to @BenCodeGeek on Twitter and give Ben a follow, you'll find this link, or obviously just browse to his website there, which is kube-workshop.benco.io. So, yeah, thanks for that, Ben. Much appreciated. And moving on, Vlad has retweeted out that there's an updated poster for the certification for Microsoft, which is cool. So if you are on your certification journey, head on over. I've clicked on that. It's made no difference. Still can't read it. Is there a zoom function here? No zoom. Can't zoom. I could zoom the page. I'm not zooming. Look, aka.ms/train cert poster. Go and take a look at that. It gives you some hints and tips as to what kind of exams are available right across the product stack and verticals within Microsoft themselves. So Azure, 365, Microsoft and Dynamics and Power Platform. And then, of course, you've got all the security exams here down the bottom. Go and check that out if you're interested. A couple of other quick announcements of other user groups. The Northern Azure user group is back for its first event of 2022. They've got a session on confidential computing. So go and check that out. If that's of interest to you, go and sign up for it. Head on over to their meetup page or follow them on Twitter, Northern Azure UG. 8th of February, put it in the calendar. So starting at 6 p.m. is their first session of 2022. Looks to be a really interesting conversation around confidential computing. So, yeah, thanks to the organisers of the Northern Azure user group. And finally, community call out, Scottish Summit. We know, unfortunately, had to be rearranged, but we've had the new dates. So, really looking forward. I am going to try my hardest to see if I can get the time to get up to Glasgow to attend in person. Jury's out at the moment. We'll see. 10th and 11th of June. Stick those dates in your diary. Get signed up. It was a fantastic virtual event last year. I remember I helped out on one of the days, it was virtual, so there was live streams and pre-recorded videos. This time it's a hybrid event, so if I can't make it in person, I'll certainly be taking part from a virtual perspective. So that's our community call-outs for this week. Let's head on back over to my big face. So, yes, so lots going on in the community. Like I say, I've really not called out everything that I've seen this week. I want to try and snap through these videos quite quickly. Although, having said that, we've had a mammoth drop of Azure updates this week. So we'll quickly get through these next couple of sections just to kind of understand where we are with the Welsh Azure user group. So our next session for the Welsh Azure user group is on the 16th of February. We've got Heiko Bren coming on to talk about how do we get rid of those recurring Azure management tasks using PowerShell. He's got a 5-step methodology that he's going to talk us through on that session. And then we got Marcel Lupo coming on to talk about how do we automate that resource decommissioning in Azure and keep a track of that as well. So 2 fantastic sessions. Wednesday, the 16th of February, starting at 6:30. As always, we have our monthly quiz, which is always a good bit of fun. So hope to see you there. Yeah, that'll do for now on the Welsh Azure user group. So in other news then, so what have I been up to on the side this week? Quite a bit, to be honest. I was just speaking to somebody now. I think the work has gone through the roof since we've come back after Christmas and the New Year. There's plenty going on. So let's just find out a little bit about just a few of the bits I've been up to this week. So starting off, it is Friday. We are back with In Convo with today, our very first episode of 2022. Honoured to have the brilliant Kevin Evans join me. We recorded this a few days back. It's airing tonight, 6:30, over across all the platforms. Go and check it out. It's the first episode of 2022. I've yet to decide whether I'm going to keep these up on a weekly cadence, or maybe I'll go to every other week. We'll see. We'll see. I've got a few other guests lined up to do some recordings with. Fantastic episode. Kevin gives us some really cool insights into his career and how he got into tech. So I hope you can join us for that. Go and like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Drop some comments in if you can. Silver Linings Runbook podcast. So for those of you that haven't seen this, I'm on a podcast. You know, who am I? With the brilliant Dan Stradlin and James Storr, two fantastic colleagues that work with me. We kind of cover all bases, I think it's probably fair to say. You've got Dan on endpoint management, desktop management, and that modern desktop arena. You've got James that very much works in that kind of power platform, data, AI area, machine learning, I guess you could say. And then you got me, who does a bit now and again with Azure. So we just trying to chew the fat on all sorts of things. Last week it was about certs and training. This week is going to be about why cloud? Why should we care? Why should we be moving to the cloud? So look out for that episode dropping very soon on a podcast platform near to you. In other news, I managed to get hold of myself with an INE license. Now, for those that don't know, Cloud Skills, Mike Pfeiffer's Cloud Skills platform has migrated over to INE. Fantastic merger there. So some fantastic cloud content. Managed to get myself a subscription. Who am I? Logged on, and this is what you see. Lots of funky colours, covering absolute plethora of courses in there. I must admit, there are, it was like I just wanted to click and watch them all, but it's just, it's that time thing again. So anyway, I've got a license. I'm going to start watching these. I'm going to see actually what it's like on the mobile app. I'm not actually checked, so I might check to see what that comes through like on the mobile app, because I tend to sit in cars waiting for the kids quite a lot. So I'm going to start using this as my my font of knowledge for the next few months at least, in amongst everything else that I'm doing. Of course, for those of you who don't, I'm still on my multi-cloud journey, doing a bit around AZ 600, although that's stalled. This week's has been super busy. But anyway, great learning content there. And for those of you who didn't know, go and check out INE, at INE on Twitter. I had this pop up on my machine last night. It's ready to go, Windows 11, and I was so apprehensive. Do I click the button? Do I not click the button? What world of pain am I going to lead myself into? A few of you have already given me a few hints. I'm on the fence still. I don't know. Do I? I got to find some downtime. Anyway, I'm at that stage. And finally, I had some fun last weekend with my youngest. Managed to get a brilliant. I never really realised that they allowed kids to drive supercars. But there we go. My daughter, 12 years old, flying around in a Ferrari California, a Supra, and I think she had a McLaren 560S, I think it was. Or 650S. There we go. I even tagged it myself. 650S. Amazing. 3 laps of the track with a supercar at 12 years old. What more could you want? Okie doke. So finally, let's finish off today with the Azure news and updates. And as always, I have to find the screen. Let's just jump on straight on over and do that. And hello and welcome to the Azure news and updates for this week. Now, before we get started, I know a good friend of mine has sent me a message. He's been doing some awesome work with Bicep, and he's pulled together a huge catalogue of bits and pieces, basically knowledge, and curated a great bit of content. So let's head on over and hear from Elkhan. What have you done with it, Elkhan?
Hello Cloud community and Jonnychipz. I'm happy to announce the latest news from an Azure Bicep language world. What is Azure Bicep? It's a declarative language that makes it easy to build and maintain Azure infrastructure as a code. A number of community members and I have started awesome Azure Bicep GitHub repo, and I would like to demo that quickly to everyone here. Let me jump into the browser now. Okay, as you see, we are on awesome Azure Bicep GitHub repo now. The purpose of this repo is to maintain a curated list of blogs, videos, tutorials, scripts, and tools, anything that's useful to help you learn Azure Bicep. Currently, we have 4 contributors, and you are welcome to start contributing and learning the Azure Bicep using this awesome Azure Bicep repo. The repo also follows these awesome guidelines, which if you never heard about that, this is a great community of 500 plus contributors who are creating value for the cloud and GitHub users. If we go and look at the awesome Azure Bicep, you will see that we have a table of content with official and community contributions, featuring different categories like Microsoft Learn, docs, videos, repos, and I would like to just show a couple of them to you. So to start with official Bicep language, you can click on this first link, Fundamentals of Bicep, and you will end up in this Microsoft Learn docs where you can start reading and practicing that. If you want to check out the videos, you can also check out certain official videos which are here. But in addition to that, I want to mention the community contributions and videos over here, and as well as community repos that are posted here. Again, one of the videos is Azure Bicep First Look, and if you have a LinkedIn account, I would highly encourage to go and check this video as well for anyone who is beginning to learn Azure Bicep. That said, thank you for watching this part, and thank you, John, for your shows. And I'm looking forward to your contributions too. Thanks. Bye.
That's awesome. No, thanks for that, Elkhan. Yeah, I mean, it's really cool. I mean, at the end of the day, if you are into your infrastructure as code or you're just starting on your journey of learning Bicep, Elkhan has got some fantastic information there. So go and check that out. And thanks for taking the time to do that little report for us, Elkhan. Much appreciated. Okay, let's move on with our public preview announcements and general availability announcements. Fair to say, we've had a lot this week. We've had over 20 announcements. So I'm going to flick through these as quickly as possible, try not to dwell on them too much. So first off, public preview announcement. We've got Microsoft Azure Payment HSM service. So it's this bare metal service that's being delivered using the Thales Pay Shield 10K payment HSM. So yeah, go and check that out. It's this cryptography thing, this HSM service that is there to process these payment transactions in the cloud. So if that is of your floating the boat nature, that you like these kinds of things, go and check it out. Public preview. Next up, general availability is your monitor diagnostic settings for Azure Storage. It's gone GA. That's cool. So Azure Storage can now get those diagnostic settings monitored. Generally available Postgres SQL backup with long-term retention. Cool. We've got another public preview that execute Azure Monitor Logs connector on an exact time range. So you can automate queries to your Log Analytics workspace and App Insights components to list or visualize results with Azure Monitor Logs connector. The connector time range property can be set to either set in query when a time filter appears in the query, or with a relative value like last hour, last 12 hours, etc. So it's just going to improve those investigations utilizing an exact time, which is cool. Another public preview, test action groups in Azure Monitor. So the Azure Monitor test action group feature enables you to test the notification settings for your alerts. So using the test action group feature enables you to test if notifications are working as expected when you create or update an action group, and to self-diagnose a cause of notification if it has stopped working for whatever reason. Cool. GA, Azure Monitor Agent extension support for automatic upgrade extension feature. So you can update to new feature updates, security improvements and bug fixes with the AMA, the Azure Monitor Agent. These have been rolled out automatically across VMs for new and existing agent installations. They attend to important updates and security fixes by enabling that automatic extension upgrade feature. Cool. Generally available improved syslog RFC compliance using the new Azure Monitor Agent. Cool to see. Awesome. Public preview, IoT Edge for Linux on Windows eFlow update. Cool. Generally available Azure Monitor diagnostic settings for Azure Storage. Why is that the same as the other one? Don't know. Okay. PowerShell on Linux OS in Azure Functions. That's interesting. So we can now use our PowerShell functions on a Linux OS in Azure Functions. Wow. Okay. We're really starting to blow this out even more. Cool. So go and get all your Linux scripts and functions into Azure Functions right now. PowerShell even. What am I on about? Linux. Okay, public preview. Custom virtual network support in Azure Container Apps. So you can now create an app container environment into a new or existing virtual network. It enables the container apps to receive private IP addresses. It can maintain outbound connectivity to the internet, and it can communicate privately with other resources on the same VNet. Cool. We've got GA Azure Cache for Redis, active geo-replication in enterprise tiers. That'll help you get up to this 5 nines configuration for any kind of HA. We've got some public preview, SQL updates for early Feb, user-assigned managed identity support for the disk encryption, bring your own keys in SQL database, and Azure SQL Managed Instance. Cool. We've got more. What have they got there? So Azure SQL public preview. That is GA. So there's a GA announcement for Azure SQL updates. Key Vault managed hardware security module support for again TDE and BYOK. BYOK. Bring your own key in Azure SQL database and SQL Managed Instance. We've got automated backup enhancements for SQL Server on Azure virtual machines. Cool. We've got deployment enhancements for SQL Server on Azure virtual machines. So we're really looking after SQL. And we've got enhanced storage configuration with TempDB. So there's a lot of SQL updates going through at the moment, which is cool to see, and even more. So Azure Database for Postgres, SQL, Hyperscale, Citus supports Postgres SQL minor versions. That's a mouthful to read out in an update show. And more about Postgres, SQL, Hyperscale. I'm not going to read through these because it's meaningless to me. Next one, public preview. Anomaly detector adds synchronous I'm going to read this again. Anomaly detector adds synchronous multivariate detection and improved anomaly interpretation. There we go. You hear it here first. So you can use anomaly detector's multivariate direct detection synchronously with simple operations. I love that, how they just throw that in at the end of that sentence, without the need to upload data to blob storage for inference. Put the data in the API request body and get the detection result in real time. Detection results include additional information to help you deep dive into the root cause of an anomaly, giving you the most contributed variables and their related variables. Learn more on how to use anomaly detector on multiple variables for your time series data. Yeah, I need to learn more. So moving on. General availability. Azure Database for Postgres, SQL, private access support again. And we've also got the Azure Sphere OS 22.01 release has been cancelled. Why has it been cancelled? During the evaluation period, an intermittent network connection failure was discovered during the OS update process when using the ENC 28J60 Ethernet interface for internet connectivity. So in order to adhere to their quality standards, they're cancelling the 22.01 release while they're investigating it. So there we go. You can read more about that if you need to. Right, yeah, I spotted this, and this is really cool. So generally available IoT Edge monitoring with Azure Monitor. We can drop down a monitoring container now onto those Edge devices that will act as the Edge collector. So it'll collect monitoring logs from your other containers running on IoT Edge, and it will send them either directly up to a log analytics workspace, or it'll package them up and send them as JSON through your IoT Hub. Cool. I want to play with that, so go and check that out if that's of interest. And finally, public preview, Microsoft Azure Communication Services telephony capabilities in Denmark and UK. So ACS has added the support for telephony direct offers in public preview for both Denmark and UK. So this means both partners and you, me, in Denmark and UK can purchase toll-free geographic phone numbers in their countries, helping them to build engaging communication experiences to connect telephony PSTN users worldwide. So fantastic. So that has been the Azure news and updates for this week. Thanks for tuning in. Okie doke, so that's the show for this week. Thanks everybody for tuning in, really is appreciated. Please do hit the like and subscribe on my channel and hit that little bell notification to get notified next time we've got a show going live. In Convo With is back tonight. I hope you can tune in and watch that episode. There will be more episodes in the coming weeks. But for now, I've been John Lund. Thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you next week. Bye for now.